16 Medals of Honor. 1 day, 1 battlefield. 14 of them awarded to black soldiers fighting for a country that, until this moment, had doubted they even had the stomach for the fight. By the fall of 1864, the American Civil War had ground into a venomous stalemate. Outside Richmond, Union and Confederate armies were locked in miles of elaborate trench networks that drained Northern morale with every passing week. This 1864 campaign poster shows the looming political crisis. If Abraham Lincoln lost the November election to George McClellan, the result would be a negotiated peace, a permanently divided map, and the preservation of slavery. To force a breakthrough, Major General Benjamin Butler pushed the Army of the James across these pontoon bridges, launching a surprise strike directly at Richmond's outer defenses. Butler placed the United States colored troops at the vanguard, giving them the most visible, high-stakes assignment on the field. He wanted their performance at New Market Heights to settle the debate over black military service once and for all. For the men of the USCT, the objective wasn't just a piece of high ground. It was the proof of their own human dignity, written in the only language the country seemed to understand. At 05:30, the men received the order to advance with fixed bayonets. They stepped off the bank and plunged into the freezing, chest-deep swamp. They entered an engineered kill zone. Confederates felled hundreds of trees, sharpening branches into interlocking timber covered by crossfire. As mud stalled their formations, soldiers chopped at the wood with bare hands, mowed down by continuous volleys. The USCT did not choose the swamp, the obstacles, or the crossfire. They simply fought with discipline on the ground they were actually handed. Excellence isn't reserved for ideal conditions. Fidelity means executing to standard, despite a flawed plan, a tight budget, or a strained household. Complaining about the terrain changes nothing. Your character is measured by your mastery of the ground you are actually standing on. As the USCT struggled through the timber, Confederate marksmen intentionally targeted the Union officers. They knew killing the leaders would induce panic and paralyze the attack. The command structure dissolved within minutes. Enlisted men were left stranded in a leadership vacuum, with no clear orders to advance or retreat. First Sergeant Edward Ratcliff, a man born enslaved, saw his company commander fall dead. He did not look backward for permission or wait for a clean handoff. He immediately seized command and ordered the survivors forward. Ratcliffe's initiative defines a standard that holds in any crisis. The vacancy in front of you is your direct order. Leadership does not wait for a formal invitation. When a gap appears, whether it's a failing project at work or a child drifting at home, the responsibility belongs to the person who sees it. Passivity in the face of a leadership void is just another word for cowardice. Whether on a battlefield or in a living room, fortitude means treating the collapse of structure around you as your explicit order to lead. Rallied by Ratcliffe and other NCOs, the survivors unleashed a furious surge up the hillside. They breached the final earthworks and spilled into the Confederate trenches, swinging empty muskets as clubs in a desperate hand-to-hand struggle. This tactical breakthrough forced the Texas Brigade to break their line and abandon the heights. The momentum of the USCT charge had done what the Confederates believed was impossible. While Richmond would not fall until the following spring, that morning destroyed the myth that black soldiers lacked the courage to win against elite veterans. This proof of concept revived Northern morale and validated the policy of emancipation, helping to ensure Abraham Lincoln's victory at the ballot box just weeks later. Edward Ratcliff and his men did not magically become brave the moment the bullets started flying. The crisis at New Market Heights only revealed the integrity and discipline they had already built during the quiet, unseen routines of camp life long before the battle. We ignore this at our peril. Moral failure at the individual level eventually scales into strategic failure at the national level. Ethical readiness is military readiness. The unseen choices you make today are actively carving the person who will show up when everything else falls apart.